This is Tailgate Tactical, and today we are installing the Trijicon HD night sights for the Glock 19. Before we can install our sights, we first need to remove the slide from the weapon. In order to do that, we're going to both wrap the slide and visually inspect to make sure nothing is in the chamber. After we've done so, we're going to pull the trigger, slightly pull back on the slide, press on the slide locks, and then pull the slide off. In addition, we're going to remove the recoil spring assembly and the barrel. There we go. Now we can install our sights. We're going to go ahead and open up the package that contains the sights. Inside you can see there's a sticker, and it looks like a user manual of sorts, and then the sights themselves. Now I have both the new sights that have the tritium in them, as well as the old plastic sights. I'm going to turn the light off, and you can visually see the difference in the dark. You can see that tritium really lit up in the dark. In order to complete this installation, you're going to need a few tools. I'm going to be using a sight pusher. This is a universal one. You're going to need a Glock specific tool to remove the nut off the front sight post. To get started, we're going to remove the front sight post. So if you look up in the slide, there's a little tiny nut, and that's what you need this tool for. So we're just going to go ahead and unloosen that. And here is your screw. Go ahead and put that back in to your front sight post. The new front sight post does come with a new screw. I'm also going to be using a tiny bit of blue Loctite so that I can ensure it doesn't come loose. So we're going to go ahead and unscrew that. Go ahead and wipe that off. Put our front sight post in. Now we want the orange facing back to you. We're going to put this screw already in our tool. Now, one thing to note is that this screw is much shorter than the original screw, so you don't want to get those mixed up. I'm going to get a little bit of blue Loctite. Alright, now we're going to hold this sight in place as we screw the new screw in. And just tighten it hand tight. And you are good to go. We are now ready to remove the rear sights. So using our tool here, we're going to insert the slide into the clamp and line up as best we can with the pusher tool, and then tighten up the clamps. Alright, we're tightened up and we're lined up with the pusher tool, the pushing piece right there. So I'm going to go ahead and take my wrench, and we're going to push these things off. You can see, comparing the two sights, that the new Trijicons are much more robust. They're fully metal, whereas these are plastic. So really you don't want to put these back on once you've taken them off, because the potential for them to break is very high. So we're going to go ahead and put this with our front sight post and start the install of the Trijicons. In order to install the sights, I had to switch the pusher piece so that the angled part would be pushing the sights on. Now that we're ready to install the rear sights, we're going to take them with the tritium facing toward us and push them on hand tight. Now once I've done that, I'm going to clamp it in the pusher tool, and then we'll push them on. Seems like they're going on pretty smoothly. It might have been faster to actually use a ratchet, but I didn't want to go too fast. Now that we're close, we're just going to eyeball it and try to get them very centered on the slide, and then we'll take the micrometer and check. That looks pretty close, maybe a little more. Perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and back off the pusher piece and unclamp. And they are on. So we're just going to roughly check. I put a rewards card right up next to it and take my micrometer. A metal slide rule or something might work a little better. So we're sitting at about 9.5, so 0.95 inches. And if I flip it over to the other side, we're actually sitting right about the same at 0.95 inches. So pretty good eyeballing. Now that we have them on, let's see what it looks like in the dark. Again, before I use this, or plan on using it, we're going to take it to the range, make sure it's zeroed in, and we should be good to go. Well, that wraps up this video. If you have any questions or comments, post them below. Get to know your gear. Pray to God you never have to use it, but train like your life depends on it.